As a US-Bangla plane approaches runway 20 at Kathmandu airport, alarm shrieks in the cockpit. The weather is unforgiving. Thick fog surrounds Kathmandu and visibility is poor. The runway appears at the very last moment, but the aircraft is not aligned. They are descending way too fast, and they are perilously close to the ground. The captain desperately tries to correct the course, but the plane suddenly veers off track. Within seconds, the plane flies dangerously over the domestic terminal, hurtling towards the ATC tower just 100 meters away. Inside, 8 controllers freeze in terror, while 71 passengers on board the plane and hundreds in the terminal below remain blissfully unaware of the catastrophe closing in. Disaster seems inevitable. What went wrong? Let's find out. This is the story of US-Bangla Flight 211, Wings Dhaka, Bangladesh. First Officer Prathula Rashid is the first female pilot of US-Bangla Airlines. She is just 25, and she has already amassed 390 flight hours of experience, and today she is going to add another feather to her cap. She is about to fly the tricky approach into Kathmandu for the first time. The Kathmandu airport in Nepal is a notoriously challenging place to land, as it is situated in a narrow, bowl-shaped valley. Pilots have to navigate past the tall Himalayan mountains, and they require special training to land there. To provide her with that training, she is accompanied by 52-year-old Captain Abid Sultan. He is a former Bangladesh Air Force pilot with over 22 years of flying experience. He is also an instructor for the airline, and with more than 100 flights to Kathmandu under his belt, he is well acquainted with the route. There are 67 passengers on board, US-Bangla 211, most of them Nepali and Bangladeshi. While the 2 pilots await taxi clearance, the 2 cabin crew members complete the passenger safety briefing. This plane, though, is going to be anything but safe. First Officer Rashid looks excited. It's a big day for her. She's been looking forward to the challenging landing. But to her left, things aren't looking too good. She notices that Captain Sultan is not looking well. He looks very agitated, and he's stressed, and he's short-tempered. He's cursing under his breath. And when the operations staff talk to him on the radio, even they aren't spared by the captain. I don't want 212. I want 211. I don't want to radio again. Keep your mouth shut. But interestingly, as soon as he turns his attention towards his female first officer, his demeanor completely changes. He turns calm and compassionate. Don't be scared. I'm going to stay for another 3 months. I'm going to show these people right and left. Just as he finishes saying these words to the first officer, the ATC clears the plane for taxiing. The plane pushes back and taxis to the runway. They then depart Dhaka, headed for the Himalayan country. The weather en route and at the destination is going to be marginal. It's overcast, with some thunderstorms in the area, and the visibility isn't great. During the climb phase, the captain overhears a communication between operations and another US-Bangla aircraft regarding their fuel on board. But even without verifying if the message was meant for him, Captain Sultan replies angrily at the operations staff. Operations, Bangla Star 211. Bangla Star 211, operations, go ahead. Why the hell do you need to know the onboard fuel? Why do you ask me for the onboard fuel? You need to tell me now. I want a written explanation before I come to Dhaka. Copied, sir. I don't care about a safe flight. You just do your duty. Don't talk to me unless I call you. The captain's behavior is not just abnormal, but it is also a severe violation of the sterile cockpit rule, which forbids the pilots from engaging in non-essential conversation during the critical takeoff and landing phases of the flights. Even if I'm abusing others, you don't be afraid, Burry. I'm calling you, Burry, to show my love for you. The co-pilot sees a big red flag, but unfortunately, she chooses not to speak up. due to his seniority. She realizes that this short 1-hour flight was going to feel much longer. 15 minutes pass. The weather outside the plane starts turning cloudy. The weather inside the cockpit turns thunderous. Out of the blue, he goes off on a rant about another young female pilot, Farhat Lamia Khalid, whom he had previously trained at the airline. He angrily curses Lamia for filing a complaint against him, questioning his competency. Lamia was the worst trained in US-Bangla. She said, "We made out in the cockpit. She's not even worth approaching."